Rena sat by the window of her apartment, staring at the city skyline with empty eyes. She had just turned 30, but the number felt like a cruel joke rather than a celebration. Her phone had buzzed all day with filtered photos of other people's happiness. Friends announcing promotions, engagements, babies, travel. Meanwhile, she had just lost her second job in 3 years, had no partner, no children, and worst of all, no sense of who she even was anymore. Maybe I peaked in college, she whispered to herself. Maybe that was the best version of me. The rain tapped on the glass like it was trying to get in, but Rena didn't move. The lights in her apartment stayed off. The shadows suited her mood better. Then, just as the sky began to darken, there was a knock at her door. She hesitated. She wasn't expecting anyone. When she opened it, an elderly woman stood there with a basket of fruits. She wore a long beige shawl and had silver hair tied neatly in a braid. Her eyes were warm but sharp, like someone who had seen both war and weddings. "Are you Rena?" the woman asked. "Yes. I'm Mira, your neighbor from 2 floors down. I heard the landlord say you lost your job. Thought you might need some company and some guavas." Rena blinked. "That's kind of you, but I'm fine." "No, you're not," the old woman said gently. "You're breaking silently." "That's not fine. May I come in?" There was something about her that disarmed Rena completely. Without realizing it, she stepped aside. Mira walked in like she'd done it 100 times before, placed the basket on the table, and made herself comfortable on the couch. "You know," she said, "I used to sit just like that, staring out the window, thinking life had forgotten me." Rena sat beside her cautiously. "When? Decades ago. I had just lost my 3rd child to a miscarriage. My husband left the next year, and all I had were photographs of who I used to be." Silence filled the room. Rena didn't know what to say. Mira continued, "I know that feeling you're living in. It's not sadness, it's weight. Like you're sinking slowly in invisible sand." Rena bit her lip. "I just don't know who I am anymore," she said. "That's a good place to be," Mira replied with a strange calm. "Good?" Rena asked, almost annoyed. "Yes. When the old identity crumbles, you're free to build a true one. But people fear the in-between. They call it failure. I call it the kill. It's where clay becomes pottery." Rena looked down at her hands. "But I don't know what to do with my life. I tried marketing, I tried design, I tried writing. Nothing fits." Mira nodded. "Then stop trying to wear other people's shoes. Walk barefoot for a while. Feel the earth. Let your own footprints teach you the way." "But I feel like time is running out," Rena whispered. "Everyone else is ahead." "Who told you life is a race?" Mira asked. "Who decided the clock of your soul should match someone else's?" Rena said nothing. "Come with me," Mira said, suddenly rising. "Where?" "To my kitchen." They went downstairs to Mira's small, plant-filled apartment. The kitchen smelled of masala and something sweet. Mira handed Rena a bowl filled with grains. "Separate the black lentils from the yellow ones," she instructed. Rena stared at her. "What?" "It's simple. Just do it. And don't rush." So Rena sat and began sorting the grains silently, her hands moving slowly, picking and placing, again and again. Mira brewed chai, humming softly. After 20 minutes, Rena had filled 2 bowls. "Done," she said. "Good," Mira replied. "Now mix them back together." Rena frowned. "Why? Just do it." She poured the lentils together and stirred them again. Mira sat across from her. "You see those lentils? That's your mind." Rena raised an eyebrow. "You want clarity, but you keep stirring. Every time you think, compare, doubt, panic, you stir. You read other people's success online, you stir. You ask if you're behind, you stir. And then you wonder why you can't see clearly." Rena's mouth opened slightly. "Sorting takes stillness," Mira said. "And stillness feels unproductive to the modern mind. but it is essential. She poured the chai. When I stopped trying to prove my worth and started listening to my breath, she continued, I began to write poems, just small ones at first. But they healed me. Eventually, they became a book. You wrote a book. Mira smiled, self-published. Not a bestseller, but it reached people. It mattered. That's the difference between being seen and being significant. Rena's hands trembled slightly. You're not behind, Mira said. You're just underground, like a seed. What you call lost is simply becoming. Tears welled up in Rena's eyes. But I don't know where to start. Mira placed a hand on hers. Start anywhere. Pick one thing you love, not to earn, but to feel. Do it daily. Not for a career, not for applause, but because it reconnects you to yourself. Rena whispered, and if nothing comes out of it? Mira smiled. Then at least you come out of it, and that is enough. They sipped chai in silence for a long while. That night, back in her apartment, Rena didn't open LinkedIn. She didn't scroll Instagram. She didn't compare timelines. She found an old sketchbook in her drawer, dusted it off, and opened to the first blank page. Her pencil hovered for a moment, then moved. The lines weren't perfect. The shadows didn't match. But something inside her clicked. And for the first time in years, Rena didn't feel like she was wasting time. She felt like she was returning. Because sometimes, the most powerful way to fix your life is not to rebuild it, but to remember it.